Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to more Revita. Today's the day that the 2.0 beta starts. It was actually yesterday when you're seeing this, but there's too many games, so I couldn't stop my episodes for the day to do Revita. It's 2.0, so what does this mean? Obviously, 2.0 means a very, very large update in a game. This is exactly that. Revita 2.0 is a massive update, as you're going to see shortly, pretty much revolutionizing every part of the game, revitalizing every part of the game, changing everything to be different and good in a lot of cases. So I want to go over the patch notes, which are, as you can see here, a short novel today. We're probably not going to go into like a billion details, because when it starts to get into the like, oh, this percentage was changed 1% kind of thing, who cares, right? I'll figure that stuff out when we play. But I do want to go over all the major changes to the game. I don't know what order I'm uploading videos in. I'll have a gameplay video today as well. That might come before this. I haven't figured it out yet. It might be like right after, so if you want to see the gameplay in the new Revita 2.0, obviously check the channel. You can find that either already uploaded or coming very, very soon today. But let's talk. Let's go through everything. So, you might be asking, why 2.0, not 1.1? The update got pretty big. There was a lot of stuff that got overhauled in it, as you can see. This is also only part 1 of the beta, so part 1 is focusing on the reworked mechanics, the balancing of everything, quality of life features, and some other little tweaks and changes, whereas part 2 is actually going to have new content in it as well, which is very exciting. I don't know what that new content is, but there is a little sneak preview in the game itself that I'll show you here in a second. There might be some bugs, so if you're on the beta branch of the game, which you can get on Steam right now, the dev recommends just updating your save file and backing it up so that you have a copy of your save. But there shouldn't be any major issues, so hopefully there's no major crashes or anything like that. Let's talk all of the new additions to the game. So, there's more dummies. I don't know what that means, but we'll find out. Last Refuge now has a small anvil at the beginning, letting you upgrade your relics one last time. This was something I brought up to Ben a couple times because it felt like really horrible to get a reward of a hammer from the final boss and then not be able to use it, or you have synergies that allow you to get upgrades, or you just have extra max HP that you want to spend on relic upgrades. You know, you get a relic on the last floor that you want upgraded, things like that. Broken shields can now appear as pickups, giving 0.5 shields, very good. Local save backups, cool. All of the remaining music tracks added to the Fool's playlist. Cool. This one's interesting to me. So speed chests have been added. You have to defeat an area quickly to open the chest and get additional rewards. Kind of an interesting idea. And along with it, also synergy chests. I love that these are, you know, the new content comes in part 2, but this is... this is in part 1. Synergy chests, they always give relics that are part of a synergy, and with a very high chance, relics that are part of synergies you've already started as well. Veteran mode, feel like the game is too easy, set your difficulty to veteran mode. Terrifying, but what this has done is the difficulty of the game has been scaled down a little bit. So the people that still want to play a lot harder can do that, but then the game has been balanced down to be slightly easier because one of the main complaints was that the game was actually too difficult, which I don't necessarily agree with, but a lot of people did, so it is what it is. The librarian has a new task menu, and as you progress in filling out the tasks, you get rewarded for hitting different milestones, which then just gives you more coins, more materials that allows you to buy more stuff, which is all very, very good. Shades have been popping up around the station. The more decorated your station is, the more will appear, and sometimes they carry gifts. So this is the incentive to actually decorate and spend your materials on decorations, which I never did because we just had better things to spend them on. New bullet mod visuals. I just clicked off the damn patch notes. New bullet mod visuals, which is cool. I always liked having different things look, you know, different, right? And then a new news feed to the title screen, which I'll show you where that is and what it entails here at the end of this video. There's also one new secret, no idea what it is, but something to keep our eyes on. So, new quality of life stuff. Reduce the amount of time you need to stand in front of the mirror for it to activate. Thank God, it was extremely boring to sit there and wait for it to crack. You can now see if you have gotten the reward from beating a shard when selecting levels. That's kind of cool. And this comes into something else later that you'll see. I already read through this once. Quickly, I probably missed some stuff when I read through it. Synergies on relic description pop-ups now show how many out of how many relics you need for said synergy. Certain NPCs have shortened dialogue after speaking to them more than once. The tutorial got some minor adjustments and is now redoable from the station, so hop back in there, redo the tutorial. Added a pop-up that appears when you unlocked more information for an enemy in the journal. Interesting. Enemy attack indicators are more obvious. Some changes to the ticket machine, so you can now purchase those tickets quicker. There's a sorting menu now. You're able to sort your tickets that you got. And then the ticket menu also allows you to pick a random selection if you don't want to choose yourself, which is a kind of funky... I'm probably never going to do that, but it's at least... I mean, it's a good option to have if you are somebody that just likes, you know, quick, get in, get action, get going kind of thing. You can now choose whether you want to use the visuals of a gun's golden version or the normal. We never even unlocked the golden. Setting that shows your run score on the screen at all times, good for the daily challenges. The time platforms and ticking tower top now have an indicator as to when they turn off, which is good. And then the zoom in when bosses transition into their second phase isn't as strong anymore. I don't know who complained about this, but sure, that's fine. Now for all of the changes, which are a lot, let's get into it. This is not Relic Changes, by the way. That is its own category, Relic Changes, as you can see here. And that's just changes. So this is new change, like new effects to the relics. This is just the stat changes. So, a lot going on in 2.0. It's honestly absurd, right? It's absolutely absurd. So changes, increase the average base gun range from 70 to 80, which is interesting. I mean, I didn't think that was needed, but is good nonetheless. This right here is probably, I mean, I'm not going to speak for the dev, but this is probably the biggest change in 2.0. The entire procedural enemy room generation has been changed, which makes for a lot more different, distinct rooms that have different interesting characteristics. It's going to make all of your runs feel a lot more different now. This is another huge change. So relic chests now let you pick between two relics, which is massive. Having a choice now between relics, it's gonna allow you to cycle through relics a lot more. It's gonna allow you to get synergies a lot more. It's also going to allow you to, in my opinion, just get better runs, right? Because you're cutting out opening a chest, spending money, you know, spending your hard-earned HP on that chest, and then having it be crap, right? I will actually say, so I don't know how this is played yet because I haven't played a run, but I was actually against this when the dev, you know, dropped the idea and we talked a little bit about it. I didn't think that putting the drafting in by default was a good idea. So I'm interested to see how it is, and I'll probably talk a little bit about that when we get into an actual run in our next episode. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this yet. We'll see how it goes. Bosses now drop boss chests, which allow you to pick between multiple rewards. I'm interested in this as well. Bosses are affected by status effects. Mini bosses are also affected by status effects. The chain meter has been overhauled, now only going up to 50% soul gain, but all of the soul gain in the game has been increased. And that's one of the things that differentiates that veteran difficulty versus the the regular normal difficulty. And then that's changed here as well, where they rebalance the soul gain. Remove the boss damage cap from all bosses but the final ones. That's interesting. I mean, that's going to allow you to shred some of the bosses. Rework the relic rarity system, now called offering bonus, rewarding you with extra relics for spending HP on statues. Wow, interesting. That'll be fun. Songs selected from Talking with the Fool now play throughout the entire hub area and keep playing throughout multiple runs until turned off or changed. The attachment modifier doesn't take effect when collecting a key relic. Key relics also can't be corrupted or blessed. This is a huge change, and I'm so happy about it, because that was so frustrating taking 2 curses, basically, if you had, what the one relic that gives you a blessing and a curse every time you do stuff? You know what I'm talking about. Adjusted the chance for corrupted enemies to drop an extra soul. Increased burn damage. Familiars won't start attacking until you attack. Wall collisions of bullets aren't affected by bullet size anymore. Second and third dial on the daily rewards now spin slower, probably allowing you to actually choose what you want. This is a huge change. I'm going to take some credit for this because I told Ben he needed to do this. 2 additional relic chest rooms in Last Refuge. The final area of the game didn't give you any opportunity to get any stronger. It was just, here's your run, good luck. And sometimes your run is just not good enough to fight those final bosses. So I really, really like this change. I think it's really good. Lighting setting is back in the game, but will be overwritten when getting the blinded curse. Interesting. When holding onto a talisman and collecting a cursed relic, it will now immediately remove the curse without having to pick one, meaning you don't lose the Paladin's Hammer bonus, which is cool. Change secret room indicators slightly. I'm terrified for this, have to relearn that. And they now have less HP. This is nice, to be honest, because you spend a lot of time just hitting walls. So this is good. You normally know it's a secret room, so you don't need to have it be 5 hits with a gun. Piercing bullets now can pierce through mini-boss shields. Looping now automatically removes the key relics. Gilded Rifts have a legendary mimic in their stature rooms rather than a rare, which now gives you a guaranteed way to get the mimics for the bestiary. That's a great change. I got lucky with that achievement. Boss chests in the Gilded Rifts contain 4 to 5 rare relics to choose from. What the frick? Gilded Rifts are crazy now? Absolutely insane. Reworked how legendary relic frequencies are treated, making legendary chests more likely to appear later in the game. Enigma, Acceptance, and Mother not affected by knockback anymore. Limit on the bullet cap setting was increased. Terrified. The hero, the guy, Mr. Miyamore, he can now appear in all of the areas instead of primarily just the first 2. This is a massive change right here. Probably like one of my favorite changes in all of 2.0. Prison keys are not attached to enemies anymore, but to areas instead. What some of you might not have known is that to get the prison keys, they were attached to an enemy. So when you killed a certain number of that enemy, it was just a random chance, basically, that you would get them to drop their prison key, which ended up being a relic that was associated with that enemy. So if you didn't see, like, it was very difficult to tell which enemy you needed to get the different prison key, and then there were just like a frick load of relics, and then you couldn't buy all of them fast enough because you didn't have enough money to buy them. So they're not attached to enemies anymore. They're instead attached to areas, random drop, and this might cause some relics that weren't unlockable to now be unlocked. So all in all, very, very good. Also, the prices for commons are now locked to 150 coins max, which eliminates some grind. That was the big thing with this update that Ben wanted to do, Ben being the dev of Revita. He wanted to cut out grind in the game. He wanted to make the game more accessible to people, and then he wanted to make just the game feel more fun, which that one's a little bit of a objective thing to think, right? It's kind of just his opinion, but the more fun meaning that all of the relics that got changed just have different effects that increase more variety into the game. But eliminating the grind is what I like. That's my vibe for sure. Change around enemy defeat requirement. Certain special rooms can't appear in the first area anymore. This is another huge one right here. So shards gotten from regret now increase your max shard level by 5, meaning that you can just jump to, you know, a higher shard level than what you were already at, allowing you a little bit more flexibility in climbing those shards. Huge change. I really, really like that. It's just good. It's a good change. You can choose whether or not to use your relic hammers or not. Huge. I don't know the number of times that I was like, oh, I don't want to use one. You know, I want to save them for a bigger relic, right? So let me instead spend, you know, either not do anything. You get what I'm saying. Being able to do that now is significantly nicer. Recycling relics will now give relic hammers based on the relic rarity, so you can scrap a rare relic and get 2 relic hammers, which is awesome. Legendaries now only cost 1.5 max HP to upgrade on level 1 instead of 2. Relic hammers needed to upgrade now increase with the max HP upgrade cost. So that is... sure, that's fine. Beating a shard 30 or higher run will give you an alt hat as a reward if you have unlocked everything else from the regret fight. So that's kind of cool as well. Tweaked pickup chances. While in dailies or weeklies, pickup preferences are deactivated. Meaning no matter how many keys, HP, or shields you have, unless you have specific relics, spawn chances are the same. Sure. Updated the tutorial fight. Don't care. Crows won't fly away after picking a relic from the statue. That makes that one achievement, the secret to not scare anything, a lot easier because you can actually use the statues. The stat UI display isn't capped anymore. Didn't even know it was. Buffed coin rewards from dailies and weeklies. Huge. Changed the reward wheel in dailies. We saw that a little bit earlier. The last one is slow. This is a massive change, so bounty tickets now add their modifiers on top of your run rather than replacing it, which allows you to still use them to shard climb, but you can also stack the bounty tickets, which can result in some kind of wild runs, right? Definitely interested in that. This is a huge change too. Rework the cat room. Doesn't cost a key to enter, and you can choose the values to increase and decrease. That becomes an extremely overpowered room. I'm just being honest. I think this is going to need to get changed because you can basically just decrease garbage stats and increase rate of fire. I mean, it's going to pretty much always be rate of fire. Absolutely huge. I mean, that's a massive change. The Giant's Room has been adjusted to the new chest network, now giving you a choice of 3 relics rather than 2. Cool. Makes it a lot easier to actually work that room because normally it's garbage, if I'm being honest. The extra special room granted by the cartographer NPC doesn't require a key anymore. That makes that room so much better. Actually, I like that. Observatory rooms unlocked as soon as you make it beyond Gazing Grove, compared to being tied to a blueprint. Challenge rooms are now unlocked by default. Interesting, I didn't even know that they were locked. Some layout changes to the hub area, excited to see it. The seed system has been reworked, now only requiring 8 different inputs, as well as allowing for the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F, resulting in twice the amount of possible seeds. Insane. Golden string now affects relic chests directly, rather than the relic inside. Interesting. So that would, I mean, that's the change. That now gives you more choices, right? So it'll give you the choice between 2 rares instead of opening the chest and then one is a rare and then the other is not a rare, right? I get it. And then changes how explosions work with piercing, now creating smaller explosions. So those are all of like just the changes to the game. Now we get into some other changes to the guns, fishing, celestial weapons, and then finally relics. It's insane, man. I'm 20 minutes in. We're just reading patch notes. I'm losing my mind. So fishing, enemies won't drop any more bait once you have 100. Fish adjust their scale based on their size. Interesting, makes the fishing minigame a little bit more dynamic in doing it. When catching a fish, it will now tell you if it's the first time you caught it, rather than me going in and having to see. Rare, legendary, and shinies now have visual indicators, making that so much easier to get them. Jesus criminy, so much easier. Removing the grind, right? Removing the grind. Chance for more rare fish to spawn increases by catching more fish in a row. Shiny fish have their own color variation, show up in the journal, make them extra special. If you don't want the fisherman to have your fish, you can feed them to the cat and maybe get special rewards. I think this is the new secret, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna have to do some fishing at some point and see. Better indicator to show how much you've charged up your fishing rod throw, and a pity mechanic that makes it easier to find the fish you need when you only have one left. So, things to keep our eyes on. As for gun changes, so the soul gun has lowered bullet spread, the rocket launcher has lowered bullet spread from 10 to 0. No bullet spread on the rocket launcher. Holy wow. The soul gun buster mode, charge doesn't reset upon shooting, and the charged up shot deals more damage and has more range. The celestial decreased slash detection rate, so you're less likely to get in a situation where you want to shoot an enemy but use the sword instead. Base shotgun adjusted the range downgrade to the overall. Same with the cluster. The charge gun base now decreases speed when shooting, but the charge doesn't decrease by walking. Basically the same playstyle, but less tedious to play with, since you don't need to button mash directional keys to move without losing a charge. There you go. I normally just dash, but I get it. I still hate the charge gun. I'm sorry, Ben. I'll never like it. The mine rocket launcher is now a grenade launcher that shoots grenades. Holy frick. Okay. The base orbit gun has a reduced radius. The burst orbit gun reduces the radius further upon shooting out bullets. Interesting. But they can't pierce walls anymore. Good to know. The reload sniper, the increased ammo by 2. Reloading successfully now increases future reload speed. What? That seems strong. We'll see what happens. Charge gun minigun. Reduce the time required to fully charge it. This gun was so ass, it's insane. So that is a great thing to see. And then the constant blast gun, after shooting, the angle will not change anymore, and the overall damage was increased. So, cool. Sounds good to me. All good changes. As for celestial weapons, so Aquarius spears, the range was overall increased, as well as starting out with an additional spear on each side, and the spears staying out for a bit longer. And the Scorpio hook, huge change here, making it actually able to be carried now. More movement speed, and it deals damage to enemies in its path. Actually makes it a lot of fun to use, and should be interesting. As for relic changes, and this is where we're going to stop today, because I'm not going to go into the buffs, because this is just number increases. That's stuff getting buffed, right? It's not going to be stuff getting worse. This is the stuff that got worse, but just don't look at them, right? Just don't look at them. And to be honest with you, shard modifiers and enemies, I don't really care either, and bug fixes. So as for relic changes, let's go over all of them. So made some changes to how relics are generated, which should make for more consistent relic choices. So trampoline now additionally shoots 2 bullets somewhat upwards when jumping. Thorny Rose gives you a small damaging aura on top. Golden Chain got changed entirely to work with the new chain meter system. Makes sense. Guillotine now spawns a second boss chest instead of just being a relic, right? So that's cool, kind of working with the new boss chest system. Also, boss chests. Magnus Carlsen comes down, tries to kill you in Revita. Divining Rod now adds an additional choice to the relic chest drafts. That's fun. Boss Key doesn't drop a relic from mini bosses anymore. Boss Key, I didn't know it did, so that's good to know. But Boss Key also got changed from a, this is in the buffs, it got changed from a legendary to a rare. So I actually think that that's, I think this is an insane change, because getting an extra relic from bosses, right? Or is that Boss Key's night? I don't. Legendaries going to rare is a lot, right? So that's fine. Lapis Necklace increases dash range instead of speed, which is cool, making your dash a little bit different. Shade Cloak has new visuals. Wind Up Key slows down your orbitals when shooting. Interesting. Okay, so you can kind of use them as like a blockade a little bit. Open Lock has a chance to automatically unlock the lock gates rather than having a chance to not use a key. That's kind of cool. Bursting Soul emits bullets upon picking up souls rather than taking damage. Cool, I like that. Iron Boot now creates shockwaves when landing that damage and push back enemies. Also cool. Fairy Dust lets you confuse enemies by dashing through them. The Scratch Ticket now has a visual effect when it procs, and the chance increases from 30, 40, 50 rather than 25, 35, 50. That's good. It's a buff. Heart of Ice activates when healing through focusing. Heartburn also activates when healing through focusing. Bomb Grub's been changed. Enemies now explode on death, damaging surrounding enemies. Okay, sure, I guess I'll take Bomb Grub eventually. Mithril Shield, additional chance for broken shields to count as full shields. New visual effect. Peaceful Decoy confuses nearby enemies when the first attack hits. Heart Fairy can be upgraded for a chance at a second orbital. Interesting, okay. Heart Lunchbox, new visual effect. Shield Repair Kit, new visual effect, only works on full shields. Laser Pointer, this one's kind of cool. Now gives a damage buff depending on how many enemies are in your line of sight. I don't know if this still gives an accuracy increase or decrease, I guess. Increase, decrease. You get what I'm saying. I hope it does, but that's a nice little added benefit in there. Converter now works with Pipette, meaning that, so Pipette, you take damage in your hearts first. So Converter converts the hearts to shields, so that you get how that would work. Rusted Shovel, chance to spawn a small chest at the beginning of an area. So much better than what it used to be, because it used to literally just be removing rooms from the run, which nobody cared at all. So a small chest is way better. Nail of Ice, remove the mechanic of it stopping its rotation when shooting, but increases the damage and range. Gun Boot increases your jump height now, as well as obviously shooting bullets from your feet. Rocket Boots, floating will now also spawn bullets over time. Interesting. Soul Urn triggers when picking up souls. Constellation guarantees an observatory. Wow, that's pretty good. In the next area, that's really good. Pacemaker slows down enemies on spawn based on how much empty HP you have. Interesting. Reserve Tank spawn increases max soul. Curse Key gives a key. Guardian Spirit creates a bullet blocking. There's so many changes, dude. Guardian Spirit creates a bullet blocking and enemy damaging orbital for the rest of the room each time you pick up a soul. Each time? That seems strong to me. Doctor's Mask makes you immune to poison. Roulette now randomizes the damage each room rather than each bullet. Interesting. Charity makes the next shop not require a key if you purchase something from the shop, and puts shops in all areas. Interesting. Eagle Beak multiplies your base amount of bullets by 2. Triple Shot multiplies your base amount of bullets by 3. So these stack like way better now, is what that means. And Bug Spray does it by 4. Okay, that's gonna be wacky. That's gonna be really, really wacky. I'm excited to see how that works for us. Necronomicon now drops an additional relic when picking up a relic, meaning it now works with shops. Some of these relics, dude, my brain, you gotta keep in mind, I got like 700 Isaac items, 200 Enter the Gungeon items. Too many words, right? Too many words. Necronomicon, I'm going as a 6-room charge that deals damage to all enemies. What the hell does this mean? Okay. Misfit Scarf, now upgradable, scales damage per soul unit rather than max soul. Interesting, okay. Glass Dagger, visual effect when active. Orbital Shields keep their radius in line with other orbitals. Mimic Charm now guarantees mimics, but increases the chance for double relics. That's fun. So just mimics everywhere. That seems cool. Coin on a string also affects the machine's spawn rate. I don't even know what that means, but sure. Kazar, this was, in my opinion, maybe the most trash item in the game. Makes it a pretty good item now. Now gives you a chance to not use up a celestial weapon charge on use. Imagine getting it to proc when you're in a boss fight. You can use the bow like twice in a row on a boss. Huge change. Floaty balloon, increased fire rate while floating. The map now has a chance to show the secret rooms. The flashlight now shows the super secret rooms. Poker chip doesn't decrease damage anymore and also increases luck with upgrades. I thought poker chip was just a good relic anyway, so interesting to see that. Soul container fully fills up your soul bar after picking it up, which is good. I mean, that's basically like an HP up as well. Safety blanket now affects local custom curses as well. Cursed lock, not cursed by default anymore. Starry orb works with any amount of soul bar segments, multiplying the value with each additional segment. Charger, specific synergies with bullets and lasers that hit continuously. Continuator doesn't follow your aim direction anymore after shooting the laser. Faith makes the next statue you purchase from free. What? That's crazy. How much can you max it out, man? Like, can you go for like a 6 heart thing if you have 6 hearts, but it's free? That seems broken. That seems really broken. We'll see what happens with that. Silver bullet can remove multiple bullets again if triggered by a laser. Interesting. Swiss knife can now be upgraded, and the level of its effects are based on its own upgrade level. And then loyalty card works on curse and max HP shops. Bag of greed works on curse shops, and fake bill works on curse shops. Damage of familiars, orbitals, and certain relics now ignore base damage and only scales with damage multiplier, making for more consistent damage values across the different gun types. Here's all of the relic buffs. You can pause the screen and you can read these if you would like. I'm not reading the damage percentages on these. It's absurd. Here's the nerfs. I'm not gonna read them. And then here's the enemy changes as well. It's a lot to unpack, dude. It's a lot to unpack. There's so much going on now. Come on, work with me. I've got damn Steam all fricked up. Can you work with me, Revita? Oh, it's looking a little janky. There we go. We're good. Just taking a look at the news tab in game as well. So they have a little blurb about the beta part 1 here. And then they also have a teaser for some of the new content coming with a little retromation looking son of a gun here on the bottom. If you know what any of this means, feel free to let me know. I got no freaking clue what any of this means. But looks fun. I mean, more stuff coming in the beta. We're gonna hop into a run here in the next video, so go watch that. It'll be out soon, or it's already out, one of the two. Take a look at the channel. But a lot of exciting stuff going on in Revita. Definitely want to get your hands on the 2.0 beta as the game moves forward to getting into the 2.0 release. Completely revitalizing the game. Thank you. I can hear your claps from here. That's going to do it for this patch note reading video, though. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the actual run. Bye-bye.